A reading from the book of Revelation. I, John, looked, and there was the Lamb standing on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, who had his name and his father's name written on their foreheads. I heard a sound from heaven, like the sound of rushing water or a loud peal of thunder. The sound I heard was like that of harpists playing their harps. They were singing what seemed to be a new hymn before the throne, before the four living creatures and the elders. No one could learn this hymn except the 144,000 who had been ransomed from the earth. These are the ones who follow the Lamb wherever he goes. They have been ransomed at the first fruits of the human race for God and the Lamb. On their lips no deceit has been found. They are unblemished. The word of the Lord. Responsorial Psalm. Lord, this is the people that longs to see your face.
Lord, this is the people that longs to see your face.
Yours are the earth and his fullness, the world and those who dwell in it. For he founded it upon the seas and established it upon the rivers. Lord, this is the people that longs to see your face. Who can ascend the mountain of the Lord? Or who may stand in his holy place? He whose hands are senseless, whose heart is clean, who desires not what is vain. Lord, this is the people that longs to see your face. He shall receive a blessing from the Lord, a reward from God, his Savior. Such is the race that seeks for him, that seeks the face of the God of Jacob. Lord, this is the people that longs to see your face. Alleluia, alleluia. Alleluia. Stay awake, for you do not know when the Son of Man will come. Alleluia, alleluia.
The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke.
Glory to you, Lord.
When Jesus looked up, he saw some wealthy people putting their offerings into the treasury. And he noticed a poor widow putting in 2 small coins. He said, I tell you truly, this poor widow put in more than all the rest. For those others have all made offerings from their surplus wealth, but she, from her poverty, has offered her whole livelihood. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, we're now in the last week of the church's liturgical year, and of course still in the book of Revelation. And there's actually a fairly nice correlation, I thought, between the first reading and the gospel. In the first reading, we hear about this focus on the 144,000 who are singing God's praises. And the things I noticed about that when I was praying through it is, first of all, they're happy to be there. They're actually happy to be there. They're delighted to be following the Lamb wherever he goes. And they rejoice to be singing hymns of gratitude. And all that, they were even delighted that there were no exit signs. No exit signs. Not one of them was excited about leading the worship that they had before them in the presence of the Lamb. Now, I think in order to appreciate the 144,000, because I have a hard time envisioning, how do you get into that small group? How do you get into that small group? So to appreciate it, we have to go back to the Feast of All Saints, which was November 1st. And we were also in the book of Revelation then. But we were in Revelation chapter 7. And that began with this description of the 144,000 we hear today. But it was immediately followed by a vast throngs of thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people beyond the ability to count. People of every race, tongue, language, and people. That's the part I'm in. And that's the part you're probably in. So heaven is much more than just this 144,000. But that vast throng that were with them in chapter 7, they too were delighted to be there. They too were filled with joy, thanksgiving, and praise. So the first thing we learn is heaven is a delightful place to be. Then we get the gospel. And in the gospel we hear about this widow that puts in the 2 pennies, but it's everything she had to live on. And ultimately, we can't get to this wonderful place we call heaven until we let go of everything, like the widow. And I think that's the most awesome thing about death. What we have here, we know. We love it. We're comfortable. We hear heaven's nice, but we haven't been there. And so there's a little bit of hesitation. And yet, death is that moment of letting go of everyone and everything, just like the widow. I have a lot here, so do you. But the promise of Revelation is there is so much more. So much more. And so I find myself praying, God, give me the grace to long for the more, the much more you have to give. And if I allow that to root itself in my heart, death will not be a terrifying moment.